Hey, this is Brian with King Grizzly, and this video is somewhat of an add-on to our video about the Elementor Pro slides widget because soon after we made that video, Elementor came out with a new ability, which is to add a slideshow to the background of a section. So this is kind of where we ended up um, on the widget tutorial for the slides widget. So like if I click on that, this is the latest version of Elementor Pro, um, and I can look at the slides here. So we have the ability to set a background image for a slide, like this first one here. You can set, like a cover style to cover the whole background. So I'm looking here, and I'm not seeing anything about a slideshow, right? Um, and we had run into some limitations here, like, well, what if I want to run a background video, right? So we had some sort of maybe limitations, but now if we check this out, I'll add a new section, and we'll throw something in there just to give it some space. So let's put a heading in there. Okay, so check this out. I can click on the section, and if I go to style, I have the option for a background, but we'll see now we have more options than before, right? So classic is just sort of like you want to add an image background. We could do a gradient, but now we got video and even a background slideshow, which is pretty cool. So I might set a height on this. So I'm going to set a minimum height of, let's use a vertical height. So it's like what percentage of the screen height, right? So we'll give it a little bit of a height here, maybe like 50% of the screen. But let's just experiment with style and then background slideshow. So if I click on that, you can see now we have the ability to add images. We can choose how, do we want them to loop infinitely? What duration will each one show? Do we want a Ken Burns effect? So this is kind of neat because it sort of liberates the foreground, and content. We could put whatever we need up here, but we could also, if we wanted, throw in some background images. For the slides. Took a second there. So you can see now, sure enough, we've got that slide. We can even have, if we want, the Ken Burns effect, right? So that's that sort of zoom going on. Now, obviously, this is it's hard to read. We probably wouldn't want green text on this, but we have the option still to do a background overlay. So what I would probably consider is like a gradient or solid overlay. You could even overlay an image. So you could, if you had a partially transparent image, you could probably come up with some cool effects. But I could set a darkness, like you have to adjust the opacity. I'm going to max that out, and then I'll just set the opacity on the color. So if I wanted to darken this down, or even choose a color to kind of give it a tint, like let's say I want to people just sort of barely be able to see, and maybe I don't know if I want Ken Burns, I might turn that off. You can also zoom in or out with that, if you do want that. I'll probably turn it off. And I can set how long each slide shows in milliseconds. I can set the transition, slide right. I can set it to like fade. So we've got 5 options here. Let's see if it'll do one for us. There we go. I like the fade though. So that's cool. We also have the ability to try a background video. So we could use a YouTube link. We could use a Vimeo link. You could set the in and out points. So let's say you were linking to a third-party video. You could choose how far in you want it to be. Do you want it to play once? Do you want it to play on mobile? And also a fallback image. So this will replace the video when it can't be played. So let me just grab a YouTube link. Okay, so I grabbed a link off YouTube, some random sort of biking video. There we go. If I wanted to set an in and out point, I could. Like say I wanted to go from 20 to 35 seconds or something like that. And it'll go on a loop. So that's slick also. Yeah, but an MP4 file is recommended to actually stream locally. If you do that, just make sure it's nice and compressed, and there's tutorials online about the best way to sort of squish like a background video. I tend to use Handbrake. So I think that's a pretty good update to this sort of slides widget is knowing now that we have the ability to have a background slideshow, background video, and you can still style your foreground with whatever you want. So if I wanted, I could even pull an image or something, or I suppose slides in front of this. I don't always want to do slides on slides, but anything's possible, right? So I could even drop a picture in here if I wanted to, and then just work on styling it so it works how I like. So really neat update from Elementor, and I believe it should still support shape dividers. Let's try it. So let's say we wanted a kind of a cool effect on the bottom. There we go, check it out. So now, by messing with shape dividers, I can come up with some really neat effects when combined with the background video and images. Okay, if you have any updates or questions, let me know. Please consider subscribing, as we're going to run through all the widgets and we'll roll out other Elementor videos. Thanks for checking this out.